Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Fun Pop. This is episode number 59, and this is going to be a little bit of a different episode because we are actually doing a spoiler cast today. We just watched the season finale of Ahsoka, and we're going to talk all about that and the whole season finale, and go into all this stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. We haven't done a spoiler cast in forever.
I mean, Fun Pop's only been back for 3 weeks.
I
Or whatever,
know,
so.
but what I mean, like even before, like we did a couple like a long time ago. But you had this idea, Jasper, to do this, and we're gonna have Psycho's finishing up the episode right now, and 3-Bit's gonna join us in a few minutes too. So we are going to get everybody's thoughts, but this was your idea, Jasper. I really liked the idea, so we're going to roll with it and do a first spoiler cast in forever with I think one of the best shows from Star Wars, and we'll see what you think about the last episode and how did that change your opinion at all and stuff like that. But first off, say hello to you, sir. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just finished watching Ahsoka, and yeah, I guess I don't know if we want to just get right into that, or if you want to do any more.
I want to say hi to the chat first. Like, hi everybody, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching Fun Pop. Thank you for watching all of the content here on Fun Speculation, and appreciate you being here. You guys rock, and I hope if you like are not wanting spoilers, like just forewarning that I tried to make it super clear on the thumbnail on Twitter and description and everything that this is a spoiler heavy show, because I mean this episode literally just came out and we just finished it, so but we didn't want to wait. We didn't want to wait a week, and we wanted to go deep into it like right away, because it's the hottest show right now for Star Wars, pop culture, Disney, all this kind of stuff. So that's what we're doing. But you guys rock again. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, so let's just dive right in. I told Psycho said he was finishing, so said we'll get your thoughts first, and then 3-Bit said he was going to be joining us too. So
who even knows if 3-Bit watched it?
Yeah, who knows? We do know that because we canceled the show last week, didn't we? Or was it? I remember he
canceled FSP.
Yeah. No, I remember he was like, "Oh, I watched all of Ahsoka or something." Did he say that last week, or was it the week before? I can't remember.
It may have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's so bad.
It may have been like the second episode back or whatever.
Right, maybe so. It's bad when that's last week we did a special. That's right. We did on Tuesday. We did the special for the news that had come out. So that's why we didn't talk about it last week. That's right. Anyway, Jasper, let's start with the final episode, okay? Yep. Because I saw a lot of people talking about this, and a lot of people were saying like, yeah, unless they ruin it in the final episode, like they always do, right? Like
there was just a tiny little bit of ruining, but it wasn't terrible.
I think you foreshadowed some stuff early on that kind of took place in this episode that you were concerned about.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what you're on about. But so what would you say? Like, was it mostly great or good for the last episode for you?
Even with what they did, I still love the episode. I just hope that they can fix what they did. Maybe with some more training, they can fix where she's not as powerful off the rip. Like, just let's dial it back a bit, Sabine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still the best Star Wars that they've ever put out since fucking Revenge of the Sith. So
that's strong.
Yeah. I mean, I even got emotional at the end when you see the ghost. I was like, holy fuck. I just said goddamn in my room when Anakin popped up as a ghost. I said goddamn.
Right.
And I just sat back.
So do you think that's what because there was a scene towards the end when Sabine was like it just felt like shadows in the starlight or something like that. Do you think it was Anakin that she felt the presence of him? Because they were looking the other way and Anakin was like back there. So I didn't know like because even Ahsoka was looking the other way, right? Into like was that like the lights coming down in the sky? Was that like the rings from the planet or something? Because
I think that was just like how like like when clouds get like the sunlight kind of comes through the clouds a bit or whatever.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if it was
Just
that, but I
light
think
through
it
the
was more
clouds.
like, but it was more like the light of the Force or something.
Maybe because it was on both sides. That's why I
Yeah.
thought maybe it was like a ring for the planet because like it was on the direction that they were facing, and then it also when it showed the other like I think it showed the other angle, and it was like that way too. So
Or
I
it
don't
could
know.
just be that they turned away and that's when Anakin popped up.
Right.
So they
Maybe
didn't see him.
that's a possibility. So yeah, you had
Yeah.
that at the end, right? So that just lets us think that's going to play a factor into season 2, right? I mean,
I think that the Anakin thing was just a little cherry on top, just like for the fans. I think I don't think that has really much to do with it. The major thing is Balin and him standing next to those statues because
yeah,
that's the father. He was standing on the father statue,
the
and then next to it
tell
was
me what's the father?
okay. So there's these god creatures that are essentially they're the gods of the Force, pretty much.
Okay.
There's the father, there's the daughter, which is the light side. There's the son, which is the dark side. The father is neutral, and then the mother is like super dark or some shit like that.
Okay.
She's like the goddess of death or something like that. And the father is like in between all of it. He's kind of like the balance of the Force. He's what keeps it in balance. He's like
Right.
he manages the daughter, he manages the son. And since Balin back in like episode like 5 or whatever, he's like, I'm not here to be a Jedi or whatever. I'm here looking for something. I want to end the cycle. I don't want the Empire to rise and the Jedi to rise. I'm tired of the cycle. I want to break that. And that's what Balin's doing. Is he's
Yeah,
either
he's
the
on his own
father reached,
path, right?
yeah, either the father reached out to him or he's going to become the next father because the father died or supposedly died in the Clone Wars by the son. I think the son killed the father. And the light side, the daughter, she embodied herself into Ahsoka. That's why you always see that white owl follow her around and everything.
Right.
That's like the daughter of the Force, like looking over her.
Okay. So I will get to you in a minute 3 bit. Sorry, bro. There
All good.
was also this temple in the distance that he was looking at, that Balin was looking at while he was standing on the giant hand.
Yeah.
And it had like this red beam of light coming out the top. Is that like an ancient Jedi temple or something like that, possibly? Or what did you think of that? Because he was looking out at the distance towards that, and it seemed like the statue was pointing that direction, kind of, possibly, to me.
Yeah, it could be the father calling to him saying, "This is where I want you to meet me" or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what that was because clearly the father statue was pointing that direction. So I don't know if that's the father's guiding him to him so he can become that and end the cycle that he's wanted to end.
Right. What's up, 3-bit? How you doing, bro?
Hey man, I'm watching it now.
You're watching it now. Okay. Right on. How far
But
are you
no,
into it?
like 5 minutes.
Oh, we're gonna be spoiling the
So-
shit out of this for you.
I know it's fine.
Right on.
I've been I've been working a lot.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty good. I've been doing the Carter's baby commercials and stuff like that.
Oh, moving on from ducks to babies.
Yeah.
Right
So
on.
I've been doing those. Play a little bit of Starfield, which felt nice after my busy week. Got to see all the stars. Doing honestly, I'm not doing any missions. I'm just walking around and just looking at my planet, looking at the stars, and
Yeah.
just not really doing anything. But yeah. But sorry, I didn't get to see Ahsoka yet, so I'm just gonna live through you guys, and then we'll slowly watch it in the background as this show goes on.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Shout out to Alvin, hit us with a $5 super chat. Says my only issue of consequences is they obviously didn't plan on the passing of Ray Stevenson. They set that up so well. He was great. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
Balin,
Yeah,
the guy,
Balin
he passed
Scroll.
away.
Yeah, he died like shortly after they finished filming, I guess. They can change that. If they do set him up as the next father, which it seems like they're doing, they could always change the actors. Like, be like, look, the father embodied himself into him, so now he looks different or whatever.
I didn't know he passed away. So the actor that played Balin,
Yeah,
passed
Yeah.
away.
right at the end of the first episode, they had like a thank you to Ray Stevens or
Bro,
whatever.
Thanks,
okay.
Ray, but I didn't know who that was at first. Like, I remember
Wow.
seeing that, but I was like, who is that?
How did I miss that?
It was like the very first episode.
He was so good, man.
Yeah, he was the best actor in the fucking show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like
Most interesting characters, like everything.
yeah, the way he portrayed it too is like, you know, he is you could tell he's on his own mission, right? And he's doing whatever he needs to accomplish it. The way he handled the whole situation with Sabine, like, as well, you could tell he didn't want to just like kill her, right? He would have, I think, if he had to, you know, but like,
Yeah,
it kind of felt like he didn't. He was playing in neutral. You know what I mean? He was playing that like, you know, I don't need to do this stuff unless you have to. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, but I'm on my mission and I'm gonna get it accomplished, right? Like, um, and his character was really good, solid, like strong character that you felt like could like I was most interested, and I guess like I was wanting them to touch on that more, right, in the last episode, but at the same time I was also glad they didn't, because that got me more excited for season 2. You know, like
yeah.
leaving
This
that
is like
open.
just the beginning. They opened up a whole fucking like they can do anything. It's a fucking new universe now,
Yeah,
pretty much. Like they can tell two different stories. Like they're gonna Ezra went back to the normal galaxy, so they're gonna have all that shit. And
Yeah.
it seems to be that they're gonna set up like the Thrawn storyline more, where he's and like Luke actually battles Thrawn,
right.
and maybe Ezra will help him with that. So that could be a problem in the future if they bring back Luke in some kind of way. I could see that being a problem for a lot of people. But at the same time, we have this new universe where Ahsoka is going to be stuck for probably forever, because she's not in the sequel trilogy. And we saw in the sequel trilogy that she talked to Rey in like a vision or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So she's more connected with the Force, and I guess that's why she's going to stay here, and that's why we never saw her in with Rey and stuff.
Right. Man. So let's touch on the Sabine thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you had talked about earlier on in like episode
1 or whatever.
2 or whatever, and I was like, man, I really like the Sabine character, because I didn't watch the cartoons. I wasn't into the Star Wars cartoons or anything like that, right? So for me, she was a new character, right? And I was like, yo, I actually really like this character. And then I learned more about her through the show, found out about her Mandalorian ties and her childhood, and then like the rift with Ahsoka, and then coming back now, and that got like me really interested. And you know, she wanted to be like that Jedi, you know, but like didn't have it in her to use the Force and all this kind of stuff. And like also, you
She
know,
formed
like
too many connections, and it was holding her back.
yeah, and there's also like starting the training late, I guess. I mean, obviously she had training early on when she was younger, but like,
Well,
you know.
she didn't have like Kanan, which is Ezra's Jedi Master. He died in like episode season 4 of Rebels, or whatever.
Right.
But he started to train her just to like kind of get her started, because he sensed there was something in her, and she needed to be more to like be the leader of Mandalore. But they like he died early or whatever, so they never finished her training. Then she moved on to Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka left her because we heard in this that the Empire destroyed Mandalore, and Ahsoka thought that she would try to bring her powers and use them for revenge. So she
Right.
stopped the training there, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, she was worried about her becoming an Anakin, right?
Yeah.
So in this show, in this episode, there's the scene where it's like do or die, right? And she managed to pull it out of her ass, right?
I'm
got
okay
it.
with the lightsaber pull. Like,
Yeah.
it's still a bit of a stretch, but
was the jump.
If it was the jump, if it was just the lightsaber pull, I would have been like, okay, whatever. But then they have to do like, I get what the lightsaber pull
she's
is.
like, oh, I got it now. I'm a Jedi Master now. Let's do this like a super advanced thing, right? Like, yeah.
The lightsaber pull is an obvious callback to fucking Luke in the Wampa in Empire Strikes Back. And then the fucking jump thing was like, I think they were calling back to Rebels because they did that a bunch in Rebels. Like Kanan and Ezra would always throw each other or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's where they got that from. I assume that's just like, hey, remember them doing this? But like, come on, we couldn't have just waited 5 seconds and left the Star Destroyer there so we didn't have to just have super force.
Do you think it was what they're trying to portray though? Was like she became confident all of a sudden and got over her like whatever was blocking her from.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's probably what they were trying to do. But still, like, you don't go fucking not being able to use the force and all of a sudden you're just fucking throwing people.
Yeah, I get. And I guess Ezra's a really strong force user, right? Like this is kind of what he's known for.
Yeah, he's had years of training and stuff.
Yeah, even in the cartoon, he does some pretty good damage. So that's cool.
Yeah,
to see it in here too.
Because when the fight scene in was it the last episode or whatever, the one before, I can't remember which one exactly.
He was just fighting her without a sword.
I don't even need a lightsaber. You know, you keep it. I'm good. I just got my force powers.
Well, it didn't seem to help in this episode either. They just kept coming back even when they stabbed.
Yeah, when he kept fighting, I was like, dude, just use your force powers. You know, you kick their ass. You know, just throw them off this thing. You know, but overall, Jasper. Last episode out of 10, what would you give it?
8.9, just because the Sabine thing, and because it kind of, it's like this whole season is kind of like, it's amazing. It's like it's a setup story. Like it feels like this season was like too short. It should be more or something. So I don't know.
That's a good,
I wish it just wasn't.
That's a good thing if you're asking for more, right? Like, episode is 8 episodes. I feel like every single one of them kind of mattered, right? There wasn't a lot of filler, you know. Like sometimes shows will do this where they'll have like just a random episode that just like means nothing, really, you know.
I think last week's episode was probably more filler than anything.
Yeah. Trying to set the stage for the finale.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes
it was
finales
filler, but it was good. Like I felt like last week's episode, I don't know, it made me like Ray's character even more. I don't know why. I guess you over the course of the episodes you get to see more depth to his character, and I don't know. That's kind of like most of the characters in the show. Sabine, I was like up and down with that.
Yeah, I didn't like her in the cartoon as much. So like going into the live action,
and she's kind of like the cartoon. So if you didn't like her in the cartoon, you're probably not gonna like her in here.
See, like, Balin was my favorite character, but she was probably my second favorite character. Like, and maybe it's because I don't have a familiarity with her as much, but like I liked the like Mandalorian Jedi shit going on. I think that's kind of cool. But also, at making the like decision to actually give up the key or the location or whatever that was, you know, the ball thing. That like set up all of this, right? Like that decision that she made there, like set up every single thing that happened from that point on. Because if she hadn't like Thrawn may not be able to come back. Balin may have not been able to go there. You know, like everything that's going to be a consequence, it comes from that decision, right? And that was her decision to make. And
Or was it the Force's decision?
who knows? But then also like she in a way she made it for like the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like even though it was setting her up to like, hey, she's being selfish. You know what I mean? Like, is it selfish to take the chance of being able to do both? Right? Like always like trying to make that decision to save somebody, right? Even if it's somebody that she cares about, like it's still a decision that is the noble one in a way, right? But it's also like not. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I
So,
mean,
what
the
would
thing
you
is,
do? What would you have done, Jasper? Would you
I
have
would
gone?
have. The thing is, like, you're obviously, if you shoot the ball, you're going to end up dying because Balin's just going to kill you. So you either have to be like ultra honorable and just shoot the ball and know that the galaxy will be safer without it potentially. Because if you go, then Thrawn's going to have a chance of coming back, and then the Empire will rise again. That's a guarantee at that point. Almost, anyway. So you'd be like, well, you're going to endanger more people if you keep the ball, so you might as well destroy it. I don't know.
But what if it was like your brother or somebody over there? You know what I mean? Because obviously, like she really cared about Ezra because that's what they set up for the first like episode or two, right? So what if it was like somebody like that? Would you go in hopes that you could still stop them, but like have a chance to bring them home?
I mean, this is a weird hypothetical.
But
I mean, even
that's
if
the situation that
even
she's
if
in,
you
though,
like
right?
handed the ball over, like there's still no guarantee they're going to keep you alive. Like she was just going off on a limb.
Well, he
just,
made
like,
he did make a promise.
I mean, you don't have to keep your word.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's
I have a question
interesting.
for you, Matt.
Yeah.
Did Ahsoka make you want to watch Rebels, where you get to see Ezra and Sabine and their whole arc and what happened to the events leading up to Thrawn? Because all that is in the cartoon.
It did, and then I see clips of it, then I'm like, nah, I'm good. Right? Because
is it the style?
The first
or...
season is rough, just story wise.
yeah,
the first season,
you know, the cartoons came across a little kiddish to me.
There's some dark moments in there.
Yeah, but like watching, I tried to watch Clone Wars, and it just it seemed more like if I was into watching like those kind of cartoons and stuff, like I would be into it, but it seemed more of like it seemed kiddish to me just personally, right? Like, and it just didn't grab me because I was like, okay, I'm just watching like this.
I think like the first few seasons are kind of kiddish, and then like as the seasons progress, it like gets pretty dark, and you're like, well, dang. And then I think it's because Anakin slowly, becomes more evil and more evil, so they start hinting that in the later seasons.
It's just maybe it's the art style. I don't know. It's just hard for me to take it seriously, right? If it was shot in like more of a like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of something.
So it's probably the art style for you.
Yeah, the art style is kind of kiddish, like and on both of those shows, like there's some
Rebels was harder for me to get into because the art style changed from Clone Wars. Like it just looks so different. But I just gave Rebels a chance, and it was like, oh, okay.
If there was like, if it was shot like some more in it or like animated or whatever, I guess in a more like serious kind of way, I'd be all in. I don't mind watching like animated stuff or whatever, but like, the style kind of is a turn off. It kind of like takes away the seriousness of the characters to me, right? And
there's also a lot of filler. Like there's only like a
lot,
handful of episodes each season that actually matters,
right?
And it's like,
yeah. So I do, but I also don't. I want to know. I want to see the key parts, and I want to see the key moments for story purposes. But I don't want to watch the rest of it to get there. So I'm just like,
I would watch the episode where where Thrawn and Ezra fight, because it is mentioned a lot in this series. So I would just like watch that episode to get more context of like when Ezra he was kind of like there's like the ship whales or whatever that was like attacking them, and then Ezra was kind of holding Thrawn back, which caused like the ship to kind of go in hyperspace, um, which made it so he was abandoned for most of the years. I would watch that so you could get more context of what they're talking about in Ahsoka, and then maybe some other episodes. But yeah, I'll just watch like the important ones.
Yeah.
If you want.
I would watch if you're going to watch any Clone Wars, especially for this show. I would watch it's like a 3 or 2 episode arc where they go over the father, the son, and the daughter, that kind of stuff. Usually like that's just like a cool episode in the past, but now that it's actually been brought up again, like I would assume that it's like a good episode to get some hidden details behind.
Yeah, do you think more than anything with what you've seen now, it's like opening up some really interesting lore, like story points to follow going forward? I don't know if anybody expected this stuff from Ahsoka. Like, what did y'all expect from this show? Like
not this. I don't know. I was like this, like, it'll be okay, I guess. And then it's getting up there one of my favorite Star Wars shows. I don't know about you guys, but I just really like the way they handled this series. Like, it's showing what I want to see, which is I want to know more about the Jedis. I don't like. There's certain stuff I would like to know more about, like Mandalorians and their history and stuff like that. So that's why I like Mandalorian. But yeah, I want to know more about the main characters or characters that really influence main characters. And Ahsoka was a big part of Anakin's life, and we never really got to see that in live action. Like, she was I don't know, just a big part of Anakin during the Clone Wars and stuff like that. And in the Clone Wars movie, she wasn't even in it. I don't remember, unless
she
was
wasn't
like
in live action.
Yeah, so
no, really.
So like what the heck? So
yeah, it's weird, like seeing all this stuff for me, because like for me the Clone Wars whole thing was like all just in one movie.
Geonosis Coliseum.
Yeah, it's just that's what it was. It's just that little thing, that happened, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess they really expanded upon that in the show, and there's a lot more there, right? And we know about the whole history of that, of like, with Order 66 and all that kind of stuff, right? And then the turning point at the end of or was it at the end of the Clone Wars that happened, or
well, that's kind of what ended the
Order
Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's what ended the Clone Wars, right? So
yeah,
all of this stuff, seeing it kind of play out, right? And I did enjoy some of Bad Batch, the first season of Bad Batch, and they kind of looked into that as well, right?
Yeah, I mean that show I've watched it just because it's Star Wars, but it's like, the fucking Echo or Omega chick, where the fuck her stupid name is, so annoying.
Yeah. Let's get into the witch lady. I felt like she just got used. Like her whole arc was just to get them there to sacrifice herself to die. Like at the end of the day, I feel like she got these powers, she got this sword, and you're gonna see her become a major factor, and then she just has one quick standoff and dies. Like, was that a little bit of a non-payoff for you guys, like for her character?
Really mind, because she set up a much bigger. Her character set up a much bigger event that's going to take place because she held off the Jedi. All the witches are going to come back now because that's what they were loading coffins onto the Star Destroyer, and they went to Dathomir, which is the Night Sisters planet. That's where Thrawn ends his journey. Like when in the show, they show him over Dathomir. So they're gonna bring all the coffins down to Dathomir. All the three mothers are gonna resurrect all the Night Sisters, and then Thrawn's gonna have an army of magic using witches, people that that are as strong as Jedi. potentially.
And now we know they can make from the show zombie stormtroopers.
They can resurrect the dead.
Right. What did y'all think of the zombie stormtroopers?
I don't. That's fine with me.
Haven't seen them yet.
Okay.
I'm on the part where they just killed the two TIE fighters.
Okay. You're not far away.
Okay.
So Jasper, there's these zombies, stormtroopers, right? They get resurrected, and it's like, okay, right? One of them got Ezra, and then Sabine saved the day again. But for me, it was like wondering if that's gonna be kind of what we see a lot in season 2.
Well,
like
there's no Night Sister like around them right now to resurrect them again. So once they kill them again for good, then they're just dead.
So the 3 sisters are the ones that brought them back. They're on the
Yeah.
ship, right?
Yeah, they're in the original universe now.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They were all on the temple, but they can bring back stormtroopers when they die. There, you know what I mean?
But they're not there anymore.
But is it just those ones, or
What do you mean?
the sisters went with them, right?
Yeah, the sisters are in the original universe now.
Right, along with Thrawn.
Yeah.
So if stormtroopers die there, they can bring them back and become
Yeah.
zombies,
They
right?
can bring anyone back.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking we're gonna see lots of like dark, like stormtroopers and all this kind of shit, which is really different for Star Wars, right? Like I'm not used to seeing that stuff, so I think that's pretty cool.
I thought you were talking about them bringing back the remaining
specific
stormtroopers that they
ones?
left.
No, fuck them. They're dead. Like they got killed twice.
Yeah.
Thrawn's vicious. Did you like the way that he was portrayed? Because I wasn't familiar with Thrawn.
They I think did him
They
pretty
used the
well.
Same voice actor.
Because Thrawn was always like in the shows and stuff. Then when we saw him, he was always trying to outcalculate like the rebels and stuff. So I think they did him pretty well with like being like, let me look up who your master is and be like, oh, that's how they're going to attack because she trained with Anakin and this is how Anakin always fought. And I know Anakin.
Yeah.
So this is exactly how they're going to play out. So I felt like they did that pretty well.
And I feel like he gets in his own way of doing that sometimes. Like he overthinks things too much, and he could grand strategist, what they're trying to play him as, right?
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to kill Sabine early on, right? But he wanted her to take him to Ezra, right? So that actually worked. The problem is they lost every time they tried to take them out, and then one of them ended up getting on the ship. Right, so that's at the end of the day, Ezra getting on the ship and sneaking on is his fault, right? Because she got Ezra, but he got away now, and he's there, and it's another Jedi that you're gonna have to contend with now back on the original universe. Do we see Ahsoka and Sabine getting back, or?
I don't think so, because I think that they want to kind of. I think with season 2, they want to go more into the actual like Force side of things with the mother, the father, and the son. I think they want to kind of dive deeper into that. So we'll see whatever Balin Scroll does, and then the chick that he was always with, like the Sith, like the evil Jedi with the red lightsaber. We'll see her like. It'll be more of Ahsoka and her fighting, I think, next season, more than anything.
Right.
And then I think because Dave Filoni's also supposed to have a movie, so I think with the movie they may come back home, and that movie will potentially be Thrawn's like storyline or Thrawn's kind of like main arc.
Another trilogy or just one off?
I mean, they could do a trilogy with it. There's a lot there, but I think it could be him like kind of rebuilding, and then when they end that, then it will be like the rise of the First Order or whatever again.
Right. Okay. The turtle people turned out to not be a factor.
Hey, they helped repair the ship.
Yeah, sure. So there, I'm kind of like thinking about all this lore and stuff that I'm learning and stuff about this show, and I think that's one of the things that is they did a really good job about is teaching Star Wars past lore from people like me that miss the shows and stuff, like those cartoons, and making it into a serious story, right? That you learn that you need to care about, you know, with feeding you these little nuggets. Like you mentioned Ezra's master. You know, they had the whole lightsaber building scene
Yeah.
or whatever, and they touched on that, right? So like I learned something there, you know, that I didn't know. You know, the whole Anakin and Ahsoka scenes, all those happened, and that like even though I at least knew that much, right? Learning more about the history and like the falling out with Ahsoka there, and then her trying to, you know, her reclamation, whatever, now. And then you have the relationship between them getting strong, and then all the decisions that have huge consequences. Like, I think they did a good job at like making everything really impactful and teaching us, people like me, stuff that I didn't know that adds to the weight of everything, if that makes sense. Like, because I feel like every little nugget they touched on with the history added weight to the story. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, here's something interesting for the audience to know. Like, it actually like makes a difference for the characters and what you think they could do or what they may not do, or like all those kind of things. Like, I think they did a really good job of that. It made the story more interesting for me. And I'm curious, like I can't wait for season 2 now, because I'm totally freaking invested. Like I'm super invested with this show. And I gotta say too, like overall, that's like, even though I could say like it doesn't have every single thing I could ever possibly want, you know, like this is the way, that's the way to end a season, right? Because ultimately we got the payoff of knowing the result of what this arc was about, which is like Thrawn's return, right?
Yeah.
So we got the result of that. Spoiler 3-bit, Thrawn gets back, okay? Sorry to tell you. But we get that arc, which felt like a complete arc, right? For a season. Like it's like a chapter. This is a major story point. We're ending here. Characters are now in this place. Loose ends. The Balin's like apprentice that he like set off on her own and stranded her there. He brought her there to strand her there. It was interesting. What an asshole. Hey, you're on your own path now. Okay, thanks, guy. Yeah. You got her, you got Balin, you got Ahsoka, you have Sabine, you have Ghost Anakin there now. Like,
well, it's not like he's staying. He just showed up to be like,
maybe he'll make another appearance or two in the future. But like, you have this arc happening there, and what's gonna happen, and the way they ended it with him standing on the statue. For me, like not knowing about the father's daughter and all that stuff.
When they showed him standing on the statue, I saw like the beard, and as was like panning up, I was like, holy shit, he's standing on the father statue. Like I fucking freaked out.
Did you know that was the planet? Like that stuff would have to do with anything there? Like that stuff? Or
there was like people like, I watched some videos like before, there was people theorizing that there could be like a lot of this father son stuff. We did see a bat in like episode 5 or some shit, and that was like potentially the son, because the son shows up as a bat, the daughter shows up as that owl. So there was people theorizing that. I don't know, like,
yeah.
So it was kind of known that they were gonna take this, but people were unsure. Like people more thought that he was gonna be Balin was gonna be kind of more controlled by the son, which would have been the dark side, but it turned out he was controlled by the father. So I think that kind of caught a lot of people off guard.
Right. So we're left now with all these amazing threads to think about, and I feel like I haven't wanted, or been able to like have this eagerness to wait for a season 2 and like a Star Wars show yet. Like I was excited for Mandalorian season 2, but they didn't really have like this kind of thread to pull on that left you like wanting to know. So a great finale, like for me, satisfies an arc, right, to a great degree, but it also sets the stage for more great stories to come that you have no idea which direction they're gonna go. You know what I mean? And it's like you just can't wait to see what happens next. But oh my god, I gotta wait like a year now. Freaking sucks. But anyway, what a great finale. I gotta say, I loved it. I loved it. Loved it.
Best Star Wars thing since Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, amazing. And the episodes for this show just kept getting better and better and better. You know, starting off with the first
episode was not great. I don't think. Like the first 2 or 3 was kind of like okay, and then it just got better and better from there. And I seen it was a different director who did like the first 3, first 2.
First 3 is Filoni.
No,
What was?
the director, not the writer producer.
Yeah, it was Filoni.
See, for me,
Nah.
for me, 3-bit I wasn't familiar with some of the characters, right? So like the first episode for me like kind of grabbed me for the character, for like teaching me who these people are and stuff, right? Maybe for people that were more familiar with the characters, it felt like more like a slower start. But for me, I was like, oh, I like this character. I like this character. I like this is all interesting. What's going on, right? And I think the first couple episodes were more about like Sabine and Ahsoka's relationship and stuff like that, like setting all of that up.
Oh wow, he did do the first one. It's crazy.
So yeah, it for me it kind of hooked me the first couple episodes. But yeah, it got like around, what was it, episode 4? Is that the Anakin episode, or 5? When they had the lightsaber
That was a really
battle.
good one.
Yeah, it really, when all that shit went down on that planet, like you had the space battles, you had the Jedi, or you had the lightsaber fights, you had Anakin showing up, you had all this shit. You know, the big decision was made in that episode too. Like all of that stuff was like in one episode. That was crazy. Sub Psycho,
What's up?
how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Just finished Ahsoka. So
What do you think?
I liked it, but the only thing that I'm like really is her ability to force push Ezra onto the
we
onto
talked
the, like,
about that. Yeah.
like really, like, hold on, you had like 0 powers, and then you're able to force
She
pull the
only
lightsaber.
pushed him halfway, right? Like he did the first half.
Yeah, but still, like, you went from nothing to I can grab a lightsaber to now I can throw you, you know.
Yeah. We did
quite a bit of distance.
Yeah, that was Jasper's issue. Like I personally I could care less, you know what I mean? But like the it was funny you bring that up, because early we had talked about that, you know, Jasper had kind of mentioned that they could like try and do some ridiculous stuff, like all of a sudden give her crazy powers and stuff like that. Like
it wasn't like over the top crazy,
right?
But still, it was like you went from nothing to just a bit to actually like grab your lightsaber, which was fine.
The lightsaber thing, I was like, okay, if they would have stopped there, I'd been like, okay, whatever. But
yeah,
then fucking
the force push,
fucking human.
The force push was like, all right, come on. Like, she didn't know shit. She's not very skilled in the force, and now she can throw motherfuckers onto a moving platform. Like, I mean, I get the whole needing to, you know, for the story type shit, because, you know, who else is going to do it? But still, I mean, they could have, I don't know. And then she stayed I don't know how far into the spoilers you got. Did you talk about everything?
I mean, you can talk about whatever. We kind of talked about a lot of it.
So, like now, so they're stuck on the planet with the chick. I forget her name. The Sith apprentice and is it Balin?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's there, but I don't know what's up with him. He was on that statue, the hand of the huge statue.
Yeah, so that's a statue of the father, which the father is like, yeah. So in the Clone Wars, they had an episode where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka like crash land on a planet, and there's like these Force gods. They're the gods of the Force, pretty much. The son is the god of the dark side. The daughter's the son of the light side. The father's the balance between them, and the mother's like the goddess of death or some shit. So, since Balin mentioned in an earlier episode that he wants to end the cycle of the Jedi rise and then they fall to an empire, the Jedi rise and they fall to an empire, it's a cycle that he wants that to end. So it's seeming like he either knew the father was there or the father's kind of calling out to him to be like, I can help you end this cycle if you just come to me.
So kind of like being the great Jedi to stop the Sith, possibly, and then being that, or
it would be more so like it doesn't need to be Sith or Jedi. It's neither. We're just
people.
Yeah, we're just people that can use powers.
Okay, so like what the great Jedi kind of is, they're not good nor they're evil. They use light and they use darkness to balance themselves. So, I mean, that'd be interesting because we have not seen anything with the Grey Jedi. Because didn't we kind of, like, at least I mentioned possibly like seeing a Grey Jedi, like Luke Skywalker. Like I thought, like at least the newer trilogy, like he could have been a Grey Jedi and teaching, Rey that you have to balance yourself through the light side and dark side, know what the dark side is and not give in to that that evil, that total darkness.
Yeah, not let it consume you or whatever. Right?
Yeah, so you can balance yourself within the light side and the dark side, but that fucking never happened, among other things. Like, I thought we were gonna say Mira, no Mira. I don't even want to get into that. But what?
And I was gonna say, it almost seems like Sabine would be the best candidate to play that kind of role because, like, she's like is gonna make the selfish decision, right? Like at the same time, but like is still good. You know what I mean? Like, because like most of the Jedi, right, would have destroyed that map, but like she chose to try and save her friend, instead. And that's Ahsoka.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Ahsoka is, because she was forced out of the Jedi Order, so she's no longer Jedi. She can just wield the Force, but she's not Sith either. She kind of does her own thing. But the thing that keeps her like grounded is the daughter embodied herself into Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. So Ahsoka is one with the light side, but she's not Jedi either. So she's just a good person.
Right. So that would also kind of go to Sabine because like she's her apprentice as well, right? So
so we could see the whole Grey Jedi arc into this coming.
Well,
from
that's
this.
why it's kind of like why Ahsoka was always wearing a gray robe. She's like kind of like a Gandalf.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got from seeing this episode. Like, now she's like, she didn't, she wasn't like, hey, Thrawn is back, but your friend is now home. Now, is Ezra the father of what's her name's child? Is that why the chick with The
The green
chick?
chick? No, that's Kanan, which was Ezra's master. That's his child. But Kanan died in Rebels.
Okay. Okay. So
That's why the Jason is her kid's name. That's why he can sense the Force, is because his father was a Jedi.
Right.
Yeah, I got that. So okay, that's very interesting. It's very. I wonder how they're gonna go, because this is before the New World Order. I mean, the
the first
the First Order
yeah.
with the Death Star Part 3.
Where does the First Order come into all of this story and plot line? Because
I hope it never does.
We're in between.
In about 20 years.
So when does it start, though? In 20 years?
Yeah, it's about 20 years out. 20, 30 years out.
Okay. And who's behind starting the First Order?
I think it's... I hated the sequel, so I kind of forgot a lot of it. But I'm assuming it's just like...
Remnants.
Was it
Kylo? Who's the big bad Sith guy?
Snoke?
Snoke, yeah.
He's just...
Well, I mean, I guess in reality, the Palpatine was behind the entire First Order, because...
Right. Yeah, he's pulling
because he was... Because
Because
Snoke was the fucked up genetic clone.
Yeah, the fucked up clone of him.
Yeah, that's what Snoke was. And then, got... What's his name? Kylo Ren to switch, but I didn't like after really so Force Awakens wasn't bad. I just didn't like the whole reusing kind of like the same arc. Like, oh no, there's a Death Star like space station and we gotta destroy it. Let's go. And it was like, oh, look, we have a villain with the helmet that embodies Vader. It was just like rehash. I kind of wish they kind of went this route. I was hoping for a Thrawn.
Kylo was no Vader. He was too emo. He was emotionally damaged. He was throwing temper tantrums. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I think wasn't in the books that actually Ben Solo was actually a Jedi, and Skywalker's daughter was a daughter that becomes a Sith in the books, I believe.
I'm not sure.
What would you ask? I was reading the DMs.
I was saying that Skywalker's daughter was a Sith and Ben Solo was the Jedi in the books.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. I thought that's where I kind of I didn't read many of them, but I just had people, discuss about that kind of shit. Because that's kind of how they went with that, but didn't. But kind of changed things up. So, I don't know. It was just fucking weird. Disney didn't do it right. But this was what we've always wanted. Maybe this erases those trilogies. And this is the new path that they will take, because it'd be kind of weird how you have an actual tactician that is General Thrawn that can fucking
he's savage too, man. He's just they've served.
He don't give a fuck.
They served their purpose. They bought me. Though those people bought me 5 seconds. Their lives are worth 5 seconds, right? He's just
I mean, they're already dead anyway.
Expendable. She did what she did, served her purpose. She did what she needed to do. He's just savage.
A true villain. He is a true villain. That's what I think I wanted, at least in the newer trilogies. We wanted that arc, that true villain, and kind of never got it, because for Kylo Ren was not that.
Well, I think that's probably going to be what Dave Filoni's movie is the Thrawn book or whatever. Yeah, the Thrawn storyline.
Yeah, because I need to reread the Heir to the Throne, and that's the start of Thrawn.
Yeah.
So I need to read. I got that book. I got to find it. So read that and see how that goes. And and because that's kind of what we wanted from after, you know, the original, you know, George Lucas's, you know, final trilogy with the prequels, and then we kind of, I mean, at least me speaking, kind of wanted that Thrawn arc. I kind of wish that they went that route and didn't go where they went with it. And then Brian fucked
it. What?
Brian fuck.
Brian, what's his name? Brian, the guy that did Last Jedi.
Brian Singer?
Brian
Was it Ryan Johnson or
Ryan
what the fuck
Johnson?
his name?
Yeah, this is
Ryan Johnson.
There's
Ryan.
Ryan.
What the fuck is his
there's
stupid
Ryan
name?
Johnson. The only director I can think of Brian is Brian Singer.
Okay, maybe it was Ryan.
Ryan
See, Ryan,
Johnson,
Brian.
I don't even know if Brian Singer did
No,
Yeah,
Is
I think
Ryan
it's
Ryan
Ryan.
Johnson. Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan
Okay.
Johnson. So
Sorry, I
that
was watching
motherfucker, like, he fucking ruined the entire whatever J.J. Abrams tried to fucking go and do. Like, Ryan was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it different. You know, like Luke Skywalker's just gonna grab the lightsaber and just fucking toss it, just like, yeah, man, whatever, dude. Like, I have no idea. Like, did he even like sit down and talk to fucking oh my god, Mark Hamill.
Just don't ever try and say any names ever
Dude,
again. Okay,
bro,
just like,
I'm horrible
just
tonight.
say that guy, that lady. You know, just say any
be like
names.
the
Mark-
director
It's
of the
Mark
movie.
Hamill.
Yeah, just-
No, because I was gonna say Mark Hamilton, but like, no, it's not
it's
Mark Hamilton. It's
Mark
Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Yeah.
So Mark Hamill, like, did he sit there and actually talk to him? Like, hey, you know, what do you think of this? And then, because he did an interview and said that he, like, the actions that Luke Skywalker did in that fucking movie, he did not. He's like, that's not what Luke would have done. And
Yeah.
it was like,
He
but
says he hates
Luke Skywalker
Yeah.
is not that, but he's not my character. I did not create him. So the director, this is the approach that he wanted. So I'm just an actor. So I'm gonna act out his vision, even though he thinks it's wrong. And it was fucking wrong. That should have not happened like that. And I guaranteed that he was looking over. Was it Mara Jade, his wife? Is it Mira? Mira Jade?
Who are you talking about?
Luke Skywalker's fucking wife.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Mira.
Was that his wife or was that
Mira
Thrawn's,
was his wife.
like? Okay. Yeah.
Mira Jade was his wife, in at least in the book
Yeah.
canon. So, and I guarantee that's who, because it looked like a fucking tombstone that he was looking over, and just that arc, they could have gone such a different way about it, and it just got fucking derailed, and then they try to save it with that fucking whatever that Rise of Skywalker bullshit. And I was like, oh look, it's another Palpatine. Ooh, wow. Wow, this is an amazing story. Who thought of this one? Who's the fucking brainiac that did this? And a fucking a bunch of monkeys like sitting in a room writing out a script for Rise of Skywalker.
Are you done?
God damn it. No! God damn it. All right.
Bitching about the sequels.
I know. Has nothing to do with Ahsoka.
I
But
know,
god damn it. All right. God damn it. It has me pissed off. All right.
He said like 35 names that were all wrong, so I'm like trying to fucking piece it together.
Yeah. I mean, this show, I put a poll in the chat. And
Sorry, chat.
it is split 50-50 right now. And I just finally actually also finished season 3 of Mandalorian.
Well, there's only 7 votes also.
So, yeah, there's only 8 episodes, right?
Well, I was talking about the votes in the
Oh, so
poll.
I was only say, hey,
Yeah.
vote. How's it 7? Okay. I was gonna say it was 50-50, so how is it 7? But no, there's more now. So and I want y'all's take on it. Is Ahsoka season 1 better than Mandalorian season 1?
Yes.
Because Mandalorian season 1 is really fucking good.
I mean, the first like. I mean, it's.
Okay.
It was great until Grogu.
Yeah, there's a lot of Baby Yoda shit that ruined it.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of that Baby Yoda. Sorry. I was just really not.
Did you
I
like
wanted
when they put him in the robot?
The problem with fuck that. The
was
Mandalorian.
awesome.
The problem with the first season of Mandalorian is everyone wanted a fucking bounty hunter show, and we got babysitter, not bounty hunter. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's like, oh, let's look at this cool bounty hunter. He's on the cover. He's fucking hunting bounties in the first episode. He's like captured the guys, turned him in, put him in fucking carbonite, and then we get fucking babysitter. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well, he's a Mandalorian now.
Yeah.
Grogu's a Mandalorian now, so maybe in season 4. What did y'all? Is there gonna be another season? Because honestly, the way they left it kind of made it seem like they don't need to do another season, right? Of Mandalorian.
I mean,
I just
they're gonna
hope
milk
they-
the shit out of that green little fuck.
I mean-
until-
What I liked about the latest Mandalorian is actually
You're cutting out.
like
Your
Is he
mic's
cutting
cutting
out?
in and out.
oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're just cutting out.
Is it still cutting out or no?
No.
No,
you're
now
good now.
I think your game.
Okay,
is
I think
a
it's
little
the noise cancellation. But I think Mandalorian, the latest season, is my favorite season because it actually focuses on the Mandalores. Like it goes into the history of who they are, and it actually focuses on them, which is why the last season's my favorite season.
It's
I
cutting.
do
It's
get the
cutting.
Okay.
It's cutting out.
All right, you
Let's
need
do
to
it again.
turn
Really?
down your gain. Turn down the gain or your noise.
It's not the gain. It's a noise cancellation thing cutting out.
Oh,
I'll figure it out.
everything.
One sec.
But I agree that the last season of Mandalorian was much better because it focused more on the Mandalore side of things. But that season was still, it had a lot of fucking Baby Yoda shit in it, and it just fucking ruins it. But
Right.
Yeah, it was better. I definitely agree. When they focused, like you were saying, on the Mandalore aspect of the lore and history of them, it was really great. And then they went to babysitting, and it was like, "Come, little guy, now it's time to fight."
now it's time to train. Shoot your 3 darts at this other fucking kid that's an idiot.
Which the thing is that he shoots the kid. So when they're fighting, the kid shoots
better
one
enough.
dart, and then they change, and they shoot another dart, and they change, and then Grogu's it's like, bah, 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 3. He wins. Like, what? That's not how it happened. Like, if that was the case, the other kid would have fucking smoked him. Like, what the fuck? It made no sense. Like, I get it, but just get rid of fucking Grogu. They should have let Grogu just go and train with fucking Jedi, with Luke Skywalker.
Never brought that bitch back.
Exactly. And then focus on Mandalorian.
And then
Like
what
the
would have happened is fucking, what was it? Kylo would have fucking killed him in their sleep or whatever the fuck he did. I don't remember.
Kill Grogu was the first one. Alvin would hit us with a $5 super chat. Says we can all agree Han is the most overrated and Maul the most underrated Star Wars characters, right? I
would agree with a lot of that.
You would agree Han Solo's the most overrated?
Yeah, he's just a fucking dude that can fly a ship.
But he did the parsec in 12.3. No.
But the fact that he is just a dude is why he's cool.
He did the Kessel Run in 12.
Yeah, but Maul's fucking
Got
pretty
spider
sick
legs.
too. Yeah, I mean, he had spider legs for a minute, and then he got normal robot legs.
That's what
Who
we
do
see
I
after.
think is the most overrated character? That's a great question.
Fucking Phasma. Sorry, Phasma, but Phasma. Captain fucking Phasma.
I don't think she's overrated because no one gives a shit about her anyway.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
Disney tried to push that shit hard. They tried to push that hard like that was the next Vader. And it was like, nope, we like the fucking
mean,
baton
Boba
wielding. Yeah, whatever. But still, everyone liked the baton wielding stormtrooper over the Chrome Trooper.
I'll say Lando.
Yeah, Lando's pretty overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Lando's just kind of there.
A dude.
Yeah, and he's just kind of whatever, you know. I like him sometimes, and then sometimes I'm like, why are you even here right now? Because you're just not really serving a lot of purpose for the story or anything, right? But you know, Han was great. As somebody said, Samuel L. Jackson's character, I liked him. I think he might be the most underrated.
He's pretty underrated because if you go into backstory of Mace Windu, like Mace Windu is actually using a certain form of lightsaber technique that's almost like forbidden because that's why his lightsaber's purple. Because he's like using a technique that only the dark side are supposed to use, but he's also like he's a Jedi at heart, so it's like that's why his lightsaber is like purple instead of blue or red.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty interesting character.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
He definitely. I forget that move or that style that he fights, but I did watch something with Mace Windu that he is. It's like it puts your. I think it's like your emotions to the point of it's like touching the dark side.
Yeah,
but
something like that.
He is able to not
succumb to like the
really
evil
go.
and stuff.
Correct. So Mace Windu is definitely underrated, and then that whole
that's why Mace Windu was the last surviving Jedi in that fight between Palpatine, because Mace Windu was like a stronger Jedi. He could channel the dark side and was able to like be a better fighter than all the other ones that just died in 4 seconds.
Yeah. The blind Jedi from Rogue One.
Wow.
The blind Jedi from Rogue One.
No, he wasn't technically a Jedi, but the monk.
Yeah, not a Jedi, whatever. I mean, he was pretty much a Jedi.
He was very strong. He had like force, like he was force.
He was force sensitive,
but he didn't wield the force. So he was like just there, kind of like where Sabine should have been. Like, like how they should have like portrayed her, like if she was going to start using force powers, but they didn't. So she was like even less force sensitive than he was, but yet she was able to, you know, yeet a motherfucker onto a spacecraft. But hey, you know,
she was just confident in the moment, right? And it was do or die. You know, we were talking like when we were talking about it earlier, Psycho. Like I agree. It's kind of just like, okay, yeah, you can roll your eyes at it or whatever, but like, I think like you could kind of see it coming with her arc. You know what I mean? Like they kept showing her try and use the force time and time again and all this stuff, and obviously they were gonna have it kind of pay off with a moment where she gets it.
And if that's the only gripe, that's not a horrible gripe.
Yeah,
truthfully.
Yeah,
because there's more egregious things that has happened since Disney took over. That this is okay,
and it's not like
it's not
like a Rey moment where she's at the very beginning going toe to toe with like
she's like Uber, I am the fucking Mecha Jedi.
Yeah.
Here I come.
I mean, she was fighting against Kylo Ren like early on, you know what I mean? Like, and she had just like learned about this shit, you know, and it's like, oh, I just learned about it, and I'm all of a sudden now going toe to toe with like the chosen Sith, the Darth character, you know, in the Sith, you know, like, and that was like, okay, that was a little like much there. You know what I mean? Because like Kylo Ren was supposed to be the new Vader, right? That's kind of how they wanted him to be, But they really went way too strong with Rey early on, and I think that kind of like was a detriment. Like she should have gotten as strong as she was in like the third movie, right?
Yeah, I will say with like the Sabine thing, like she did have training. She had multiple masters, like Kanan trained her a little bit, and then Ahsoka's trained her, but still, like we never saw her use the Force. So like the jump is out of reach.
Yeah.
But like I could understand if they just left it to lightsaber pool. Like that would have been fine. Like
what if they had?
Yeah, that would have been like realistic if they did that.
What if in the story with her they had set it up to where she had kept training all these years and she had gotten better with the Force since then?
Yeah, if they would have said she was training over time and like actually kept up with her training, it would have been fine. But
yeah,
she didn't.
They showed that I haven't been doing my work and I'm just not there, and then all of a sudden she's there, but not as bad an OP as Rey. Like I thought it was.
Oh, you mean fucking holding ships out of the air? Like yeah, that's pretty cool. Just ships trying to fly away and you just hold it.
I mean, it made for a good scene. That was that was cool in that scene in that movie. But like, yeah, I agree. It was like too much, right?
Goddamn Star Killer over here. Have to fucking retcon that motherfucker. Why can't we retcon this bitch? She's fucking strong as...
I thought it was gonna be what is that 117?
Master Chief?
No, what's his name? The ex stormtrooper turned good guy.
Captain Rex?
No, the black guy.
Oh, Finn?
Yeah,
Finn. Yeah, I was trying to figure out his numbers. I'm trying to fucking remember names. Like I'm gonna remember his fucking number.
Yeah, everybody thought he was gonna start to become Force sensitive.
That was kind of what it was alluding to, and then it was just like, no. We need the women Jedi. I was like, okay, Disney, go do your thing. And then it was like that. Oh, she got way OP. Okay, yep, we lost it. we somebody didn't do their fucking homework. Oh, that's right. That was Kathleen Kennedy.
The interesting thing with Ahsoka, also, you could say the same thing you would about the Ahsoka show. I mean, it's a very female-heavy show. You got Ahsoka, Sabine,
that's
you got
fine.
the sisters,
Ahsoka's badass.
You got the other witch lady, but like I feel like nobody cares because they
make
did it
sense
really well, and it makes sense, right? It like 100%. So like people aren't saying that where Rey was like one character, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, it's a girl, like oh my god, like I could care less.
I don't care that it was a girl,
but like
it was just like they made her way uber powerful.
I just find it interesting nobody's saying that about Ahsoka, but they had such a problem with Rey. You know what I mean?
Because Rey went from nothing to fucking Luke Skywalker powers.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is this?
I know, but
what are you trying to do, Disney? Like, what the fuck?
No, she had all that staff training on Jakku. That's why she's so good, bro.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. She was getting her portions, and her one portion had a little bit too more metachlorines, and then she just like, oh shit! I
She was
can feel it.
team. That's why.
I never really had an issue with Rey, like, because it is what it is. I thought it was interesting or whatever, but the movies just weren't as good. Like my issue with the sequels was more so that just like overall the story arc wasn't very good, right?
They copy and paste most of it.
Yeah, I just felt like the story arc wasn't great, and I feel like the main problem I had with it wasn't actually the heroes; it was actually the villain. Like I feel like the villains were all pretty weak. There was not like a major great.
The second movie was so full of fucking plot holes that none of it made any sense.
I mean, your main villain, Kylo Ren, was like this emotional baby all the time. It kind of ruins the like. It ruins him as like being a formidable opponent. Is kind of more of like this back and forth stuff. That was my main issue with the sequels. Not Rey, or John Boyega's character Finn. It was more so just like the plot lines that they in the
Yeah, but we
writing.
got fucking Kylo nipples in like episode 3 or whatever it was, or episode 9.
Did he had like a nipple
It
suit?
was
Like,
his shirt off,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
or it was episode 7, where the fuck it was.
I'm built like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Square.
Yeah, I mean Rosario
Yeah.
Dawson. Yeah, you know I got sold. Talking Rosario
Bonk fucking look.
Dawson was great. Also as Ahsoka, I think. Like I loved Ahsoka's character in this.
Yeah, I'm not like the biggest Ahsoka fan, and like I feel like they could have
Right,
named
Pong?
the show like they could have named the show like anything else, and it still would have made sense. It didn't have to be called Ahsoka because
Yeah,
even though she's like kind of the center character, like there's some episodes she's not even in it. Like there was one episode she didn't even have a fucking role in it. She wouldn't.
I
in
almost
it.
felt like Sabine was the main character in the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, like it felt more like a Luke and Obi-Wan situation in a way. Like as far as like she's kind of
yeah, I
like
could see
along
that.
for the ride and like learning and trying to get to grips with what's going on. She has a past. Ahsoka is there, that she's got it together. This is who she is. She knows who she is. She's confident in every decision that she makes and knows what she needs to do. And she's there to get over her issues with Sabine, but then also guide her along the way now. And it was kind of like, for me, it felt more like an arc with Sabine, whereas Ahsoka was there as a stabilizing character, right? Because they needed that like formidable force of good in this to like try and have that determination to go against, and the determination to actually go get Thrawn and be able to accomplish that. And I think that's like Ahsoka served that role in it. Like she was perfect for that, right? But like she was more a vessel, right, to tell the other stories through. Like all this is happening around Ahsoka. You have Sabine story arc was the most like dramatic here because she was the one that made the decision. She had the emotional ties to Ezra that drove her to make that decision. She had to get over her issues with Ahsoka. She had to do all this stuff. She's going back and forth between Mandalorian style and Jedi, and she's like finally got it at the end, right? And it showed a lot of the scenes were like just her, like
Yeah, and Ahsoka had some good story parts too, like her going back and like re-seeing like Anakin and like his teachings and stuff, like
yeah,
her reliving her
Yeah.
past to like grow
that
more.
was definitely Ahsoka's episode, right?
Yeah.
For sure. But the show started out, season 1, episode 1 was Sabine. I feel it was the first scene was like
it,
her trying
or
to.
was it Ahsoka like finding the map room where she cut the hole in the ground and then the droids like
Oh, that's
attacked
right.
her?
Yeah, that's how it started, and then it cut to Sabine with the
Yeah.
motorcycle thing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, a great arc on the show. Man, it does suck that Ray Stevenson passed away. I didn't even know that, and like,
Yeah, that's how I was wondering how
yeah.
they're gonna end it.
Obviously, I mean, for selfish reasons, it sucks for me for the show, but like, obviously, like he lost his life, so that's way worse, So
Yeah.
rest in peace to him, because I mean, he's a fantastic actor. I wasn't really that familiar with him. Like, I'm sure I've seen him and stuff, right? But this was like a defining role, I feel like, for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, they were what was it? They were kind of like saying like his role, like that whole going down the hallway scene was a total ripoff of Vader in Rogue One, but it was just a menace. Like, to me, it was totally like there were
That
some
was
different
just showing the power of a Force user and a Jedi and a lightsaber wielder. Like that's all that
Correct.
was.
and a tight quarter, and they were doing different moves, and it was like a whole different approach to how like like they were able to handle themselves within small
And
corridor.
the difference thing was
blaster fire.
when he entered that ship, he said, "Hand over the prisoners. I don't want to hurt you." They could have handed over, but they didn't. So he killed them.
Right.
Correct.
He gave them an
So-
option. If it was
Yeah,
Vader, he
and-
wouldn't have given them an option.
Right.
Correct. And that's how I think just a lot of people are just looking to bitch about something.
And he doesn't have a red lightsaber. He has an orange one if you look closely. So it's not. He's not total
It's-
dark side.
It's dark orange,
Yeah.
which people are like, "Oh my god, it's not right." So I don't know. People just want to bitch about something, but to me, I think from start to finish, it was great. I think there were just little things here and there that could have been, a little bit tightened up, but outside of that, great Star Wars story arc. Great push where the future of Star Wars could be going, if this is what they're following. I would love to see.
I mean, they could honestly.
They
like,
got 20 years to
they
play.
Dave Filoni has set up a potential where they can retcon the fucking sequel shit, so we never have to care about that again. Because if he just sticks to the new universe, he can build a whole new fucking Star Wars galaxy there, and then the fucking sequel shit will never matter because no one will give a shit about it.
Exactly.
You mean following
and to
Ahsoka
me-
and stuff, and
Yeah.
like the universe they're in right
Maybe
now?
there's a new. Maybe they build a whole new fucking like galaxy of fucking cool shit there.
Oh, yeah. Maybe there's a whole nother empire there that we don't even know about. Like maybe it's
Yeah.
like be crazy.
Yeah. And
Maybe
I wonder
maybe
what's
there's
in those
Jedi there that we never
caskets.
heard about because they can tell new stories and don't have to worry about lore at all and like all that shit. Like going into a new universe sets the stage for that, and then they can still like have the stuff happen with the old universe to kind of like tie some of those loose ends too.
Yeah. They could build and start new instead of trying to meld the two together.
And even like since they like in the past Disney has retconned like Starkiller and stuff. If Dave Filoni theoretically wants to bring that in, he doesn't have to necessarily make Starkiller Darth Vader's apprentice. Maybe he makes Starkiller like the son or some shit like that he was kind of like the dark side like force god or some shit. Like he could go anywhere with it, but just kind of blend those characters into the new universe without having to be the characters we already know.
Yeah. You finished watching the show yet, 3-bit?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because it was cutting out before. Yeah, I did. Thought it was really good. The force push towards the ship was surprising. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Like throughout the show, she was trying to use the and become a force user, and she was just kind of sucky at it. What I thought was cool, because I'll get back to that in a second. But what I thought was how when she stayed
straight at your mic and close to it.
Why is it still?
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta figure out how to turn off the thing in a second.
I don't think it's a not picking.
He's
up
never
the
done this
sound
before.
thing because it's like his audio level's really good.
Yeah.
So it's
Is it
just
plugged
like
in all the way?
It's like it's cutting in. It's cutting in and out like it's losing signal or something.
Let me try. You guys keep talking. Let me see what I can do.
Yep.
I know you this was happened and then we took over like we kind of took over and then, but no, I think I really do like what you said, Jasper. They could really build out a new universe and really build out a new arc in this with this storyline,
like,
and kind of go
you
forward.
could see where like maybe what they do with it, like, you know how Luke in the books, like, that they where they retcon all that shit, where he trained a bunch of new Jedis and stuff, and you got like the Jedi Academy games. They could make that theoretically Ahsoka, and then you could have all those people that they've cut out in the books just be Ahsoka was their master instead of Luke.
Yeah, and they could definitely do that, and then build up this whole new universe within the Star Wars, because they kind of want to go High Republic. From what I hear, is where they kind of focus, because they don't want to go Old Republic, so they want to go High Republic. So,
so what was I saying?
Are you back?
Is it fine now?
Seems like it for now. I'll let you know if it starts again.
Okay, if not, I don't know. It's weird. Shoot, what was I saying? Basically, when Sabine was kind of using her lightsaber and the gun at the same time, I thought that was pretty sick. Just like towards the end when she decided to stay with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. But yeah, the force push, it like to some people, yeah, that they could downgrade some points for that, but I think most of the episode they were building, or most of the season they were building up to being able to use it at some point. Whether it was small or big. This one was definitely big, but I don't know, it didn't bother me too much because the rest of the episode was good.
The thing is, so like you can't just like not use the force and then you just make the biggest fucking force move of your entire life. Like you have to start slow. You can't just like
Yeah, because like me and Jasper were like the whole grabbing the lightsaber, the force pull with the lightsaber. If they like left it there, perfect.
it'd be like, okay. Yeah.
That's more reasonable, realistic. Like, okay,
Yeah, she was
she's-
in danger.
and then all of a sudden she's like,
realistic.
yeet.
Yeah,
She yeets
it's
Ezra onto the ship. Like,
It's realistic in this world where we can use the force and have shadow magic and all this stuff too. But yeah, I get you. I get you. Like for the lore of Star Wars, right? People usually just don't make that jump, right? But it is what it is.
So being someone that's never really connected with the force
Yeah.
to just do that as
Correct.
your
Yeah,
second
they-
force
and
move
they
of
alluded
all time
to that in the show. Yeah, so I get it. I'm sure that some people will have issues with that. We saw it coming a little bit,
Yeah.
and I feel like overall it didn't make a huge impact. But I think what people might be more upset with is where they go with her now that she's done that. You know what I mean? Like, what is that setting the stage for?
Well, the thing is, she's going to be on a planet with Ahsoka for who knows how long, so she can do as much fucking training as she wants now.
Yeah. So now it would be legitimized, right?
Yeah.
Because she's gotten it, and right. So, and I'm season 2. They're probably like I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but they're probably gonna tie in with Balin's arc because they're still on the same planet, right?
well, how?
And well, I don't know. Like,
Well, that's where I said, I don't know if you were in here, Psycho. I said I think what they're going to do is, since Balin's clearly like being led or influenced by the father, I think that
yeah,
when you see the statue pointing in the distance, I think Balin's probably going to go to that point of light, and then the father's going to infuse himself into Balin, and then they could just, it's a different actor now. Like, that's how they'll like replace him, but it's still Balin, but he's just a different actor. He looks different because the father infused his presence into him.
yeah, that'd be interesting. I think Sabine. Do you think Sabine becomes a vessel for like one of the others?
yeah, the evil dark witch mother, and then she's gonna go full Sith. No, I don't know.
Um,
She's, I think, the grounding point for all the god stuff. She's the human aspect of it all. Ahsoka's the light side. The chick, the Sith chick or whatever the fuck, she's gonna either be the dark side figure or the mother figure, which they're both evil. So
mhm.
Ahsoka's gonna fight the evil, the father's gonna bounce them out, and then Sabine's gonna be the grounding point for everything.
Right. Interesting. 3-bit, what would you give Ahsoka? Is it better than The Mandalorian season 1?
I really liked Mandalorian. I know you guys are like, oh baby Yoda. I don't care. Man, is it better than Mandalorian season? For me, no.
Okay.
And I'll say why. For like Mandalorian season 1 to me was consistent. Like I know you guys like some of the first few episodes of Ahsoka, but I thought it started off kind of slow, and then it got into its groove and became like amazing and one of the best Star Wars shows. I will say it's definitely up there with like one of the best Star Wars shows. I like how it is factoring more into the Star Wars universe. it's more of what I want to see in Star Wars for sure. But in terms of like consistency and like the show, I don't know. I really like Mandalorian season 1. But yeah, it's hard it's to compare to like Mandalorian because I think overall Mandalorian's a good show. But Ahsoka, what it does is it definitely brings back characters I wanted to know more about, like Anakin. I wanted to definitely see more stuff that was in stuff like Star Wars Rebels in an actual live action and actually respect the cartoons for once. This did that. Like that's stuff I've been wanting to see for a long time. I do think it's one of the best Star Wars shows, and I know it's weird, like with me saying it's Mandalorian is better. I just think in terms of a show itself, like the writing, the directing, and stuff like that, I think Mandalorian did like a really good job. In terms of the story and the characters and stuff, I think Ahsoka is definitely up there. Maybe even surpassing Mandalorian in a lot of different ways. So yeah, it depends on what you're asking about Mandalorian. Like if it's story, if it's character, I could probably go back and forth Ahsoka and Mandalorian. But overall, I give this episode. I was trying to watch it during this whole show, so I might go back and see if there's certain things I missed because I'm also trying to hear you guys. I'm gonna give this a 9. I liked it. I'm gonna rewatch it again. It was cool seeing Anakin at the end. That was like I was like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard me. I was like, oh, that was really cool.
I had 2 seconds of feeling, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool."
Yeah. So I give it a 9.
I think
Good.
one thing that's definitely better than the Mandalorian is the villains.
Yeah.
Like the best thing about the Mandalorian is Mando, right? Like the Mandalorian character, but then he also became kind of weakened because he's like, now I'm a babysitter dad type guy, and I'm less of a badass because of like and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like Grogu had a negative effect on the show more so in that aspect because he's so focused on like the kid, right? As opposed to going out doing badass missions for the sake of being a bounty hunter type Mandalorian. And I love the Mandalorian's arc for like them going back to Mandalore and all that kind of stuff. I love that shit. Like I'm super into that, right? But even like all of his interests have been like tied into the kid more so than anything else, right? And it's like early on in the first season when it kind of felt like this was going to be a shorter arc with the kid, and he was more of like, all right, come here, you little shit, let's go, you know, like Mandalorian was more of like a badass, you know. And they've kind of softened him and softened him and softened him.
The thing with
know?
Mandalorian, besides just the Baby Yoda thing, is like I constantly want them to dive deeper into like the Darksaber lore, the Moff Gideon stuff, the reason why Mandalore's destroyed, who's going to become the leader of Mandalore, stuff like that. But they kind of just give you like 5 seconds of it, and they move back onto fucking Baby Yoda shit. So it's like, give me more Mandalorian shit, and then they like spoon feed it to you. It's just like I just want, give me the whole fucking plate.
See, I loved Giancarlo Esposito as Gus Fring in Breaking Bad, like amazing villain in that, right? Great. But I don't like Moff Gideon. I think he just comes across as weak at the end of the day. Like he's like seems like he has a great idea and the way he like presents himself and all these things, and he's like seems like he's like a badass, and then when it comes down to the times where he's got to put up or shut up, he always gets his ass kicked and loses. It's like you know, he kind of comes across as like weak in those moments, you know. I did like the Dark Stormtroopers that he had in season 3, the red ones, you know, those were cool because they were infused with like different abilities from like they had Beskar armor, and they had like force stuff and all these things, right? It's cool, but at the end of the day, he was the weak point. He's been a weak point all along the way. He lost the fight. Every fight they show him in, he loses. Like it's just like,
Well, he's just human.
yeah, I know,
He
but like
wasn't-
he's supposed to be the big bad villain. That's what I'm getting at, right? Like there's not any like super great villains in the Mandalorian, you know, like in this. You
No,
had,
the doctor. The doctor's the villain.
in the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
the Doctor, which Doctor?
Yeah. The one that's
The-
trying to take Baby Yoda to clone to get
Yeah.
his force powers out so
Like
he can
that
fly like Snoke
motherfucker.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who builds that bullshit up. So he's like the true villain, but they don't really focus too much. So they have to give you that visual bad guy, which.
But he
is-
got fucked over anyway in the
Yeah,
last
I
season.
forgot all about him anyway. Like
because
I don't-
Moff Gideon's spy or whatever fried his brain.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
So, but in Ahsoka, you have like the witch sister ladies, right? You
The
have
Night Sisters.
the Night
yeah.
Sisters. You have the witch lady, right? You have Balin. You have Thrawn, right? You have the girl, you know, that's there as well. I can't remember her name. You know, the blonde girl that's a Sith apprentice. And you had the Shadow Jedi or Shadow Sith guy too that got killed, but like there's all these like badass like you got fucking zombie stormtroopers showing up. You got like already resurrected stormtroopers that get resurrected again or whatever the story there is though. Like even when they're on the planet, you also have the nomads or whatever they are. You know, like you have them too. Like there's so many great like villains and things that seem like harder, like they're up against more and stuff. You got TIE fighters.
Yeah, because it's
shooting
like
at 'em
3
all the
people,
time
but
and
it's an
stuff.
entire fucking army. It's like,
Right. It feels like I appreciate that. Like it feels more like Star Wars to me. Like maybe it would be too much for just one for a Mandalorian, you know. But now that they have all the Mandalore and all this kind of stuff, like even the payoff with the big battle in the end of season 3 on Mandalore with Moff Gideon and all that stuff, it just like okay, you know, like it didn't pay off like all these different moments in Ahsoka with all these different villains.
yeah, it showed Baby Yoda using the Force. That's the payoff.
Yeah. That's what they wanted. Sell more toys.
Yeah. I love the villains in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And they're all different. You know, like Thrawn is like this master calculator strategist that doesn't give a shit if any of his people die or whatever. That they serve their purpose, you know. You
He's a great
have
tactician.
him, you know, manipulating people to do his bidding that he knows are gonna die. You have him you know, using the Night Sisters dark magic, you know, like creating other powerful soldiers by using that stuff too. Like there's so much more cool shit going on with the villains in Ahsoka. That makes it more interesting and feel like there's way more at stake, right? Because like now my mind is like, oh shit, Thrawn and all those fucking crazy witches and shit are there going to, you know, destroy the fucking universe, and all they got there right now is Ezra and who knows who else. Like, but like, it's like it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, dude, because they're gonna kind of be able to do what they want for a while, you know, without much resistance.
Well, the
So
new
when did-
that's where it shows the downfall of like the New Republic and stuff is
Yeah.
they have been infiltrated by like they're still clearing up the Empire stuff, so they have moles and shit that's kind of leaking intel and stuff. So the New Republic's not as max strength, and then they're gonna have the battle with Thrawn, and it's gonna be all that kind of shit. So it's gonna show like the why the New Republic is so shitty.
Yeah. Well, like the one guy on the Senate or
Yeah.
whatever that's like, or the council or whatever that's always against Hera, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
There's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. Thrawn's not coming back. It's a figment of your imagination.
Probably works for Thrawn.
Probably. Probably
I was
got
thinking
paid.
that like while I was watching it, I'm like, he's fighting a little bit too hard for them
Yeah.
not to find this guy. I'm like,
Y'all keep saying
Makes me wonder.
Shin Hati. Who's Shin Hati?
It's Shin Hati or whatever. That's the Sith lady, the apprentice.
Okay,
from
Shin
Balin.
Hati.
Yeah.
Shin Hati.
Yeah,
Right.
Super
It's like
Soaker
a
5000.
meme. Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Can't wait for season 2. Can't come soon enough. It has surpassed The Mandalorian for me, and I really like The Mandalorian. So
I like the Mandalorian. It's just again, season 2 is probably one of the
Yep.
worst seasons, except for the whole Luke at the end. That was awesome to see that whole fight. That was like the best part of the whole thing. And I was like, yes, finally, Grogu's gone. Please, thank God. And
Yeah.
then,
He's back in the first episode. Of the
oh
next
my
season.
motherfucker. But at least with season 3, there was more Mandalorian lore that they did that was not so. They didn't focus on Grogu as he was like a second. He was just a character in the background for a little bit, except for when he got caught and then he needed help. But outside of that, he wasn't like the focus.
Yeah.
Like especially episode 2 or season 2 was a huge focus on Grogu, and I think was like the low point for Mandalorian for me.
right.
And then
got
Boba Fett was just straight trash. Obi-Wan was a letdown. Andor, I couldn't even finish. It was just so boring.
Boba
Yeah, I
Fett
couldn't
was just
find
like,
Yeah.
what happened to this awesome freaking bounty hunter? Now he took over the Hutt's like syndicate, but still,
And they recruited
Like-
some hipster dirt scooters riding people.
That was-
fucking dude
yeah, that was-
scooters, dirt Vespas, man. I am not hip with that shit. But besides that, it was like that was just like a letdown. But guess what was the best episodes? The ones with
The
the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Like, wow. Like you see the reaction from the fans. Mandalorian can be fantastic. It's there, but Disney is just focusing too much on this, trying stop focusing trying to sell toys and start focusing on your storytelling, because that's what made you Disney, is storytelling, not toy sales. Yeah, it's great, but at the end of the day, let's get this Star Wars story. You get more people interested in your Star Wars universe. Guess what? They'll visit Star Wars land at your theme parks, people. But what did
Well,
I
that
know?
is if they don't charge $17,000 to fucking visit for one day.
No, it's $5,000 a night there, Jasper. If you
I'm
want
sorry.
a Star Wars themed bed and breakfast.
So, there was just on the site before we get out of here. There was a little bit of a side note too on some of this news that came out. There was a hiring post from Xbox, or was it a hiring post, or was it somebody's like LinkedIn page about there's 2 licensed Xbox games, not just one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was LinkedIn. Someone.
that's that one guy.
So we already speculated about 1. Now there's 2. Do y'all think this? Only got one question. Like, do y'all
Where's
think
this coming
is?
from? I don't think I've seen this.
Yeah, this happened today. There was a LinkedIn thing from I can't remember who shared it with me. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I seen that a while ago.
And
earlier today.
on LinkedIn it has information, and there's like 2 licensed Xbox games, not just one. And we know the one was from the Bethesda side. So if there is actually 2, like, which it seems like from that post, is this both from Bethesda side, or did Xbox themselves on their side go out and get a license for a game?
I'm wondering if it's like, could it be confusion with like the other stuff they have in works, like maybe Indiana Jones and that other licensed game? Maybe they're just like confused and they're saying both licensed products.
Yeah, well, we know Indiana Jones, so then there's right. So you think maybe they're including Indiana Jones in there?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on
There is that Wu-Tang
the
game
LinkedIn
also
page.
that's rumored. That could be seen as a licensed game potentially. Yeah, that's the thing. Thanks to
I think
Amit Kumar reminded us.
I think people were just trying to put Wu-Tang and think it's like New York Def Jam.
No, I think it
Whatever.
seriously is like based around like their music and all this kind of stuff. Like that's what the rumors were. Like
Yeah, but how good would that really be? I mean, that's very niche.
well, it's supposed
audience.
to be. The rumors was like it's some 2D like kung fu style game, like and it's like based on and it has like the Wu-Tang music and stuff. Like
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would be. I don't know if that would really.
Well, it's coming out from
Really?
it's a small. It's not like a huge Xbox game. This is like one of their smaller projects through a partner, like one of their indie partners that they're publishing.
Well,
right.
yeah. So if Xbox is not doing it, then yeah, it could be
The
whatever.
Xbox is publishing it.
Yeah, so
but
they probably saw that it was.
I mean, if they
if it's
publish
like
Pentiment also, you know what I mean? Saying like every Xbox game doesn't have to be this huge, massive deal, but like Wu-Tang game could be really exciting for some people, right?
I don't care about it.
If it's an action
just-
brawl, if it's like a brawler or something, I'll get it. I'll get into that shit. You know?
yeah, but again, it's one of those games that if you're not a fan of Wu-Tang Clan or Wu-Tang Clan, sorry,
Oh my god! You can't even
Wu-Tang
say-
Tang, Wu-Tang Tang.
Wu
If you're not a
Tang Clan.
You said it.
if you're not a fan of Wu-Tang Tang Clan, if you're not a fan of Wu-Tang Clan,
I like Wu-Tang.
then how much really? It's kind of like, were you into the Beatles rock band, or were you into Aerosmith rock band, or were you into Van Halen? It's very certain people that are into that
Played the Miley
into their
Cyrus
music.
game?
Yeah, if they're into their music, yeah, you're gonna be hype as shit. But if you're not really into the Wu-Tang music, it's like cool, awesome. There's a game that has, there's not a lot of games that are focused on rap or anything like that. So that's a positive. So awesome for that. Again, if you like their music, sweet. If you don't, it's
I
not too
think
many
it's
people
just
going
going
to
to
get into
come
it.
down to what kind of game it is. Like, I think the music is just going to play a part in it. Like, I don't feel like it's like.
I don't know, but it just seems like everyone's building it up like this Wu-Tang game. It's like not even, they're bypassing what the game is and they're focusing it's a
Because
Wu-Tang
that's
game.
all we know about it right now. Right? Like, it's from a new studio. I think it's
So,
like,
we'll see.
was it Black Lion Media or something like that?
Yeah.
Or,
That's the name of my company.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
3-bit
making Wu-Tang?
I'm not.
it's I can't remember. It's something. It wasn't exactly yours 3-bit. It's been so long since this was leaked, but it was like close to yours. It was very close to the name of your
It
company.
was Black.
You're
It's
saying I
Black
should sue
Lion.
me.
No, because yours is Black Lion Media, right?
Yeah.
Media. I think this one's Black Lion something. It's
Wow.
Black Lion, but it's not.
Well,
It's not BLM. It's like BL something.
so I should kick their butt later.
It is
Black Lion Entertainment.
Black Lion Entertainment. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see what they're doing.
They saw that They saw that you had Black Lion Media, and they're like, "Damn it!
This
right.
is the second time someone.
We'll go with." Yeah, I know. First, it's the name of the
Lion.
game that
Is
you
it-
got,
Brad?
Yeah.
Black Lion?
and then boom, and then
That was
they're
Brass Lion. Yeah, Brass Lion.
Brass Lion, not Black Lion. Brass Lion.
Oh, well,
I-
sorry, 3-bit. Mav had a brain fart like me most of the day.
I said it was close to 3-Bit's studio. It wasn't exactly the same. So, Brass Lion. And
Yeah, brass
Brass
black, you
Lion.
know,
Brass Lion.
tomato,
Well,
tomato.
your company's name is Black Lion, and I knew that 3-Bit, so it was like, and that was in my head.
Yeah.
So it's just we don't know what that game's gonna be. So whatever it is, people will be excited on it for whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But
Let's focus. Let's let its focus be the game, you know, and bring
Back to
that
this
up.
license
Yeah, I would.
game thing.
Yes, 100%. Do y'all think could be from the Xbox first? Non Bethesda side. If this is another game, or because that opens up possibilities. Like if Bethesda did it, remember also Xbox went and made Indiana Jones exclusive. So can we kind of talked about this before? They may be willing to put money into these licensed games now. Like if this is another one, then you could be talking about them open to doing Star Wars, Marvel games, all these kind of different things.
Ooh.
I mean, it could.
Or, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it could be another Bethesda game because maybe that licensed IP on that list, maybe that's just something they are like acquired, but it's still so far out, so they just have it as licensed IP on that list. Whereas like Project Platinum or Kestrel could be something that they're already starting to work on, so that it has a project name, so it's not labeled as licensed IP anymore.
I just had a thought. What if they acquired a license for a studio that's not quite in their stable yet? Like someone from Activision. You know, we had
Well, they
Transformers.
bought the whole damn company there.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, they could have got an IP, like, hey, we kind of want to work on this new Transformer game, or hey, we kind of want to work on, you know, G.I. Joe, or I want to work on this, I want to work on that, something, and they're like, okay, let's go grab this
Isn't
IP.
is Certain Affinity helping on that new Transformers game?
They worked on it.
Oh, they worked. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
not,
and then it went to this.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
Splash Damage, I think now, or something like
Yeah.
that. I can't remember who's working on it now. I'm trying to find the exact report again. Okay, here it is. It's a senior business development manager, full-time hiring, or for full-time. Yeah, this is somebody's LinkedIn profile. That's what they did. It doesn't even say the name because it's cut off on this. But this person, it says they filled this role from March 2020 to February 2023 on LinkedIn.
It goes from March to February 23. That's
March
backwards.
March 2020 to February
Oh, okay.
2023.
I thought you said March 23 to February.
Yeah, sorry,
20. I was
March
like, what the fuck?
2020 to February 2023. So this person worked in this role at that time, senior business development manager. Drove complete negotiation and valuation process for Xbox Game Studios products as primary business development point of contact for Obsidian, 343, Microsoft Flight Sim, and first-party publishing. Found and evaluated new concepts, content providers, IP holders, and other potential partnerships in the connected entertainment sector, signing several agreements for new Xbox Studios games. Negotiated all, executed all. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to skip through and find exactly where it is. Identified and executed dozens of licensing opportunities, including esports, mobile, console, and linear content, resulting in owned IP expansion and elevation, as well as additional new revenue channels. Served as subject matter expert, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is interesting. Spearheading projects to identify and build relationships with key mobile developers and publishers for future work on Xbox IPs.
Well, that doesn't sound promising.
Okay, so here's where it is. It says, worked on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, Halo Infinite, Grounded, As Dusk Falls, Crossfire X, Nobody Saves the World, 5 unannounced Xbox Game Studios first-party titles, 1 unannounced ID at Xbox and Game Pass title, and 2 unannounced licensed IP titles.
Huh.
So that was basically this is like their resume, basically,
Yeah.
right? So between 2020 and February 2023, they worked on 2 unannounced, currently unannounced. Otherwise, they would have put it in there, right? Because if they had been announced, they would just put the name. 2 currently unannounced licensed IP titles from Xbox. So this kind of got out there that they have 2 unannounced licensed IP titles. But like the Wu-Tang one could be one because that hasn't been officially announced yet, right? And then the other one could be, Indiana Jones is announced, so it could be that Bethesda game. But every other game on here is from the Xbox side. There's nothing here from Bethesda. So is there actually 2 from Xbox side?
There's so many project names that like maybe we have the project name for the game, but we just don't know what that game is yet. So like,
right,
that's why it's still like maybe we know of it already. It's just we don't know of it because we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
and it's not officially announced.
Maybe. What games have been project names that we know of that haven't been announced yet that could be licensed?
I don't know. You have that list of like fucking 50 games on it.
Yeah.
The Coalition,
games,
aren't
right?
they working on 2 games? They're working on Gears and
they sidelined the other projects to focus on
okay.
Gears 6.
So I mean, one of those could have been it too.
It's possible. It could have been. It could be. I'm trying to think. I mean, the Wu-Tang one stands out because that hasn't been announced yet, and that's like a partner that has a license. They got to have the license for Wu-Tang Clan, right? And so that's a possibility that that's one of them. Besides that, it could be anything. Like, it really could be anything. I mean, there's certain Affinities game.
Well, they're not part of Microsoft.
No, but Microsoft would be the publisher.
Yeah.
So if Microsoft's a publisher, there's still that would still count, right?
Well, I think we know of all of certain Affinities stuff now.
They got Project Suerte, which is the Halo thing, right? Or no, that's the Monster Hunter game, the Monster Hunter style game, and then they got the Battle Royale.
Project Laurel or whatever the fuck they showed at Gamescom, which isn't an IP of anything.
Right,
it's their own thing. They're assisting on another studio that's creating like a extraction NFT game or some shit, and I don't know what else they have.
They're just working on Halo stuff.
Yeah, so I think we know of everything that they're doing.
There's IO Interactive's game, Project Dragon or whatever. That is what came out in the reports during all the leaks that was actually a Microsoft Xbox published game as well. So that's IO Interactive's game, but that doesn't sound like it's gonna be a license. It's a fantasy game supposedly. So I mean, what would they? I
mean, it could be like some random book you never fucking.
Or could it be
of,
like Game of Thrones? I guess it could be like a Game of Thrones type thing or something like that, right? Like, who knows, man? Anyway, just throwing it out there, like, it's interesting that could be Marvel, could be Star Wars, could be anything else. Like, it's just interesting to me that Xbox obviously is doing like licensed stuff.
It could be a fucking mobile game.
Yeah. Well,
I'm guessing it's Marvel because I mean, we don't know if that thing is accurate, but
that's his his resume. Like,
no, I mean
he's fluffing his resume up.
I mean the previous list that we went through. If we want to connect it to that,
right. Also, Marvel Games supposedly isn't happy with how their games have been doing, so they're looking to shake things up and stuff like that too. And starting with Amy Hennig's game, supposedly, like a Black Panther, Captain America game. So just keep your eyes open.
Is that just going to be PlayStation, or is that a new studio she's?
No,
it's a Skydance.
Skydance.
Media,
it's her new studio. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be multi-platform.
You got so many Marvel shit in the works, like.
Yeah. There's Iron Man, there's Captain America, Black Panther, there's another
there's
Black
Panther.
What about DC? What is DC doing besides Suicide Squad?
Warner
Wonder
Brothers
Woman.
is
Wonder Woman
doing their thing.
Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
it.
But they aren't gonna probably license out their games. They're gonna do their
This
own.
is why they're gonna continue to just suck.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to find out. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching Fun Pop. This has been a spoiler cast for Ahsoka. I appreciate you all for being here. 3-Bit, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Appreciate you being on the show. I know I was watching Ahsoka for most of it, and my mic had problems. I'm probably still having problems right now.
Yeah.
You guys can find me on Twitter at i3bit. Love y'all. Ahsoka's a 9 out of 10 for sure. Loved it.
Like herself or the show?
I mean, she's not bad. No, I'm just kidding. The show's 9 out of 10, and great stuff. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks, 3-Bit.
Screw my mic.
Jasper, what about you, sir?
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper, Twitter, Lord Master Jasper, YouTube, all that fun stuff. And then it's Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, all 10 o'clock right here on the Fun Speculation Network. We missed FSP yesterday, but that's on Monday. So check that out. And then Fun Pop and Xbox Listener, like I just said. And that's where I'm at. That's what I do. Check it out. Have fun.
Right on, bro. Thanks, Jasper. And Psychonauts.
Thanks, everybody.
What the fuck is going on?
Thanks, everybody, for coming out. It was a awesome episode of Ahsoka tonight, and I just had a blast talking about it with everyone here. I'm sorry for really destroying people's names because I'm getting old and burnt out. So, okay. And find me everywhere on social media, Psychonauts 8. You can find me Mondays on FSP, Tuesdays at Fun Pop at 10, and Xbox Ultimate at 10.
Right on, bro. Thanks, Psycho. Everybody. It's been real. Thursday, we got PM in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Friday is Xbox Ultimate. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed Ahsoka. Take it easy. Peace out.
For the Republic!